Hello and welcome back to a review of a new game that I found, a new online pirate game called Piratopia, which I found on Steam, and I was like, this is pretty interesting. So I figured I'd make a video about it just because I'd been playing it. And honestly, it's a pretty solid little online game. So it's a pirate game that reminds me a lot of Sid Meier's Pirates, with like this top-down sort of steering your ship type of view, and basically you go around to different ports and trade goods, as well as between merchants that are just on little islands and things, and then you use the gold you get from that to level up in sort of the main island city area. You can use the gold for upgrades and then upgrades to your level, so you can see that I'm level 25 in this particular clip, and then you can also use the other materials to do things such as craft sort of limited time ammo for different types of weapons. And you can also, well, as you level up, your ship can also, it sort of changes in the way it looks and such. And there's also some bosses you can beat as well, and there's even some PvP. So it's, I'd call it in multiplayer online game, which I would say fits within the realm of what I've been doing on this channel. And honestly, I was finding it quite fun. So it is a little weird though, because it's, you know, I think it's one developer, a solo developer who made this game. And everything I'm shooting right here are AI controlled ships and such. They kind of just roam around looking for players to attack, and the farther out you sort of go from the center of the map, the difficulty and dangerousness of those ships increases. And you can see on the mini map in my upper right, there's like 9 different quadrants, I guess I call them, and some of them are much more difficult than others, especially I think it's like especially the ones in like the 4 far corners maybe are supposed to be the most difficult. Underneath me here you can see a shark, which is one of the bosses, I think. And it is a bit interesting though, because the game, it almost has like a single player type of objective, which is to collect, you collect all these diary pages, but then you also collect these gems. And you can see there that Sharky has one of the blue gems, and there's also some, I think they're pink gems. And honestly, I don't really know what happens if you collect all of those, but I wouldn't be, it just says you beat the game, is what it says. So, you know, it's a multiplayer game, but it does have some aspects that feel a little more single player, and the big downside to this game that I could see is that the end game isn't super fleshed out at all, which is understandable from a solo developer, considering the game just was released not that long ago. But I'm not super sure if it's going to get any more major content updates or not, but just thought I'd share because this game, I was finding it to be a lot of fun. You can use gold to level up until about, I believe it's like level 50 is what I thought I saw, and then, or that's what people said on Steam, and then after that, you basically level up through winning PvP. So the problem with this is that there seems to be the fact that, you know, it's really, it's supposed to reward people who are good at PvP, which is good in theory, but there end up not really being enough people online at any given time to contest it. And it kind of just ends up feeding the top couple players levels over and over and over, which results in some people being at like level 400 while others are, you know, at much lower levels. So the late game progression could use some work, and it does sort of feel like the content runs out. But in terms of a game that feels like kind of a single player game with multiplayer aspects and elements to it, I mean, it does feel like an MMO in many ways, but I don't know. The long-term objectives are a little more single-player oriented, so it's an interesting game. I really liked Piratopia. I found it to be quite fun, but I don't think this is an MMO that you could just play forever per se, because the end game, like I said, is lacking, but I kind of intend to put some more hours into it. And the PvP is reasonably fun and interesting. There just isn't really enough of it going on. You have to be either PvP flagged, or you have to sort of consent to this PvP arena, which, again, if you win, gives you an automatic level up, which is how some people have gotten to, like, level 400, because they just keep winning that over and over and over against, like, 1 or 2 players, the same people, and you can kind of really sort of take advantage of that to gain levels really quickly beyond level 50. So I did think that the AI controlled fleets here are really cool. Again, game just has a really fun vibe to it, and you know, I'd encourage people to check it out if you're into pirate games and multiplayer games. And I enjoyed it, especially for a solo developer. I think this is a great attempt right here at creating a fun pirate-themed MMO. Could use some more content. I really hope the developer adds more content to the game, because I could definitely use more endgame content, even if it's grindy, just something other than, like, let's gain an automatic level through fighting the same person over and over in PvP, because there aren't really enough people on the servers to do that. So it doesn't really end up being super competitive. But in theory, this game has a lot of potential and a lot of good groundwork to be a very fun pirate game. The other thing I will say is sometimes the bosses will just automatically, like the shark will automatically find you. They'll just find you and automatically sort of one-shot you, and then you die and lose your gold. The other bad thing is that if you log out, you'll lose all of your stuff except like half of your gold or something. So that's not so good. But beyond that, I'd say it's not too bad. It's a pretty fun game. So I'd encourage people to check it out, and that's going to do it for my quick review of Piratopia. I think it's a fun game that could use some work, but it's in a really cool spot. So it's trying to do really cool things. So I'll leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comments, and what other types of content I should create. Maybe subscribe if you're new to the channel. And thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more videos.